Hello everyone, good afternoon, and we are the Group 5, second presenter, and our topic for today is deciding when and what to use. And our members in this group are Baldo Iverson D, Santos Raven D, Guillermo Maria Kathleen M, Isla Janice M. Our learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, students should be able to discuss the various ICT tools in mathematics that develops critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Next is select appropriate ICT tools to be used to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And last is utilize ICT tools in different learnings activities that develops critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Table of contents are the topics that will be discussed for today's meeting. First, we have deciding when and what to use. Second, deciding whether or not to use technology in a lesson. Third is, will technology allow us to see the mathematical concept differently? Fourth is, will technology allow us to create representations quickly and accurately so we can spend time analyzing them and working to generalize? Fifth is, will technology open us up to different solution strategies? Sixth is, will technology provide meaningful and immediate feedback? Seven is, deciding which technology to use. And last is, using math action technologies within activity builders. Now let's proceed on deciding what and when to use. One of the most common questions we are asked is, how do I know when to incorporate technology in a lesson? When planning for instruction, whether or not to incorporate technology in a lesson, and if so, which technology are among the first decision to be made? After determining your learning goals, of course, this decision is not trivial. It is easy to get pulled into using technology because on the surface something looks really cool or fun, or because you have to show you use technology on an evaluation rubric. The purpose of this chapter is to provide some guidelines to help you decide whether to incorporate technology into a specific lesson, along with guidelines for when you do decide to use technology. We all discuss determining which type of technology might be the best choice. One of the most common question we are asked is, how do I know when to incorporate technology in a lesson? Siyempre, as a teacher, you have to master your lesson kung para mas ma-determine din natin kung dapat ba na gumamit ng technology, or also we have to determine or examine the situation kung appropriate ba na gumamit tayo ng technology sa isang lesson. And also, after determining your learning goals, ang this decision is not trivial, meaning this decision is make sense even though na cool or fun tignan yung paggamit ng technology. Kailangan pa din natin na malaman or ma-determine yung situation and lesson kung dapat ba na gamitin yung isang technology sa isang lesson. And yung purpose ng chapter nito is para mag-provide ng guidelines or guidance para mas makatulong na mag-decide kung kailan pwede or kailan appropriate na mag-incorporate ng technology sa isang specific lesson. Next is deciding whether or not to use technology in a lesson. Like any other lesson planning decision, deciding whether to use technology in a lesson should be driven by your learning goals. With your learning goals identified, it is often suggested that you ask yourself if technology will make the lesson better. But what does mean when we ask our tech math teachers about this? They said things like, according to Christy, I think I always just to start off with wondering what my goal is as an entry point and trying to determine what technology would be the best serve in what way, because I know there is a really big push for teachers to use technology, but I think that we need to be intentional about what we choose to use and when. Pag-decide ng paggamit ng technology sa isang lesson, dapat related or align siya sa mga learning goals natin. And also, we also ask ourselves kung uh, kung makakatulong ba or mas mapapadali yung paggamit ng technology or mas madaling ma-attain ng mga estudyante yung lesson kung gagamit tayo ng technology. And also, and according kay Christy na always ng entry point niya is para nag she always asks herself or nagwa-wonder siya kung ano nga ba yung goal niya para mas malalo niyang ma-determine kung ano nga ba yung dapat niyang gamiting technology sa isang lesson. Is according to Nick, I'm trying to think about, hey, is this saving time? Hey, has this helped me portray a key idea to my students? It's one thing for us to like technology as teachers, but we want to make sure that when we put it in our students' hands, they are using it for increasing their learning and creating valuable learning experience. Keeping in mind that our goal is to use technology to position students as math explorers. That means considering the ways technology might remove barriers and provide student agency.
Will technology allow us to see mathematical concept differently? Given the abstract nature of mathematical ideas, representations are how we gain access to the ideas. Representations provide us something to point at, critique, and discuss. Technology can be helpful when it allows us to create representations that are connected and dynamic. As we noted in Chapter 2, what sets math action technologies apart from other technologies is that they allow us to create and act on mathematical objects, often in dynamic way. In fact, many technology tools allow us to create multiple connected representations like table, equation, and graph that are all connected, changing one result in a change in each of the others. Something that is not possible with the paper and pencil. It is this connection between idea and representation that teachers say they think about when considering it if technology will allow them to see a mathematical idea differently. So as a student, as I experience, technology allow us to see mathematical concept differently. Like for example, using the GeoGebra. GeoGebra is a mathematical graphing calculator wherein you can use the 2D and 3D one where you can easily visualize those equation, expressions, and such, which helps you to see or help you on how to solve a certain equation or a certain problem. And on that app, you can manipulate the given where you can see that the changes on the graphs with just using the mouse, where you can toggle the mouse, which cannot be made in paper and pencil, because in paper and pencil you need to make a table of values, substitute some things, and you need to compute a lot before you graph a certain equation. So using mathematical ideas or mathematical application, so it makes student easier to compute about mathematical concept. According to Nathan, I'm going to use technology when I want them to move between mathematical representation. So as a student or as a future teacher, we should apply or use technology as we teach mathematics concept, because it is easier for the student to solve and visualize those concepts, those equations easily. Like as you graph in a board or whiteboard, it's crucial to think about or to imagine about that certain equation, especially if the exponent is greater than 3 or greater than 2. And if we use a mathematical graphing calculator like GeoGebra, it makes our life easier to solve and to visualize the certain equation. Like moving from a 2D one, like a written one, and moving into a technology, um, like from paper or from board into a application. According to Sarah, if you're only working with symbols and I feel like I'm going to have students who struggle, then that gives me another medium where they don't just have to attach to a symbol, which also they could look at a table or a graph or a picture. So as a future teacher, we should integrate technology as we teach students. Like for example, we have a student in a grade 7. So he or she is having a difficulty on how to solve or on how to visualize a solid figure. So if you graph or if you make a solid figure like a 3D one in a board, it is crucial for the student to understand or visualize that 3D figure. So if we use application or a technology to graph or to make a 3D figure, so it is easier for them to visualize, ganun pala yung 3D figure na yon. Like in a application or in a technology, you can rotate it, like view it from top view, bottom view, side view. Unlike in a blackboard or in a paper, you can just see it in the front view without visualizing what is in the back, what is in the side, and such that. So technology is a must. Like it is a big help for the student and also for the teachers, where they can easily teach the mathematical concept to the student. According to Andrew, I tend to use it when something has a lot of complex mathiness that we can simplify with a picture or an animation where they can get the gist of it before we actually dive into the math. So, as I experienced, like in a calculus tree, so I'm having a difficulty on how to solve the number 3, like it is the cylindrical method. So, I'm having a difficulty on how to solve the volume of that. So, I went to GeoGebra and then I typed down the mathematical equation. So, through that, I easily imagine on how to solve what is the radius, what is the f of x and such that, and what is the lower limit and upper limit. So through the use of mathematical application, it simplifies or it makes my computation easier because I easily visualize it using the GeoGebra app, wherein I think there's a lot of other application like Desmos, and you can search on Google Chrome what are the other mathematical application app for graphing, calculators, and such. Ultimately, if students' insight into the mathematical idea would be enhanced by the creation and analysis of multiple connected representations, then it would make sense to incorporate technology in the lesson. Like, as I've said, technology is a must for us, especially for the student, because it makes their computation or their visualization on a certain algebraic expression or equation, which makes them easier to compute, find the area, find the volume, and such that. So it enhances the mathematical idea or the critical thinking skills of a student because they can easily visualize it using the mathematical application app like graphing calculators, GeoGebra, Desmos, and such. Will technology allow us to create representations quickly and accurately so we can spend time analyzing them and working to generalize? While it is sometimes helpful to work with multiple connected dynamic representations, Other times, you might want students to be able to quickly and accurately create one or two representations. This is sometimes referred to as using technology as an amplifier. Whether it is a geometric construction or the graph of a function, creating representations quickly and accurately allows more time to focus on sense making. A use of technology that many of the tech math teachers indicated as being very valuable to them and their students. Like for example, as I experienced when I am in grade 9. So, our math teacher uses a GeoGebra app where our topic is about graphing of a quadratic function. Because if you want to graph a quadratic function, so you need to first compute the coordinates or the ordered pairs of each point, and then construct a table of values, and then you plug the points and then connect the dots. So that's how you graph a quadratic equation or quadratic function. Unlike in using technology or application, so you can just type down the function or the equation easily. Like, it allows us to create a representation or a graph quickly and accurately in a minute of time, like for about 5 seconds. And unlike in graphing it in a paper or in a blackboard, it takes you for almost 5 minutes or unless, or 5 to 10 minutes.
So yung topic ko po is kadugtong lang po nung sa kanila. So yung sa akin naman po, will technology open us up to different solution strategies? By having technology available for students to use as they see fit, they are free to create representations that might introduce different solution strategies for the class to discuss and learn from. By being open to different solution strategies, we are being open to voice that might otherwise not have been heard in other mathematical discussion. Student voice and student agency are important consideration when thinking about whether to include technology in a lesson. The tech math teachers not only noted the importance of providing space for student voice, but also the joy of the student using strategies they didn't anticipate and getting to share their brilliant ideas that with the class. Dito parang sa investigation, kapag nag-explore tayo, naghahanap tayo ng possible solution or formula na ibinigay sa atin na problem. Syempre, di naman tayo basta-basta nakakahanap ng paraan para ma-solve ng problem, or merong problem na meron ng formula, pero naghahanap pa rin tayo ng other strategy para makapaghanap ng solutions para do sa problem na yun. Minsan, pag naghahanap tayo, nakakita tayo ng ibang formula or strategy with the use of technology. Sa technology kasi, ito yung mga source ng mga answer ng problem when it comes sa math. Ganon. Hindi lang siguro sa math, pati siguro sa other subject. Ganon. Next naman po is yung, will technology provide meaningful and immediate feedback? One final consideration when deciding whether to include technology in a lesson is whether it can provide the student immediate and meaningful feedback. When considering math action technologies, we are not thinking about entering an answer and getting a green check mark, letting you know it is correct, but rather about the student creating a presentation that provides them feedback about their ideas or solution. So, dito naman, di ba, tayo kapag nagle-lesson, pag nagtuturo yung teacher natin, after nun, binibigyan niya tayo na parang sasagutan natin or seat work ba, ganon. Tsaka pag sa recitation, bibigyan tayo ng problem na sasagutan natin. Di ba, minsan nagpapaunahan pa tayo na sagutan. So, ikaw, kapag na-solve mo yung problem, pag may trust issue ka, talagang magche-check ka dun sa app. Halimbawa, sa technology, kung tama ba yung ginawa mong process, ganon. Check mo kung tama ba or mali. So, merong mga app na, or technology na, pag nag-insert ka lang ng problem, lalabas na agad yung answer niya. For example, sa GeoGebra, mag-insert ka lang ng problem, lalabas na agad yung answer. Sa Photomath, di ba, kahit walang load na gagamit natin, nakakapag-produce pa rin siya ng answer. So, yon dun sa technology, will technology provide meaningful and immediate feedback? Thank you po.
Hello, my name is Maria Kathleen M. Guillermo. My lesson is all about deciding which technology to use. If you decided that technology will make your lesson better, now you need to decide which technology to use. Once again, we recommend beginning with your learning goals as this will help you quickly narrow down your option. In Chapter 2, we describe the types of technologies you have to choose from most of the technology types with a math strand to knowing your goals narrows down your option. Dramatically, this is the first pass that many of the math teachers said they took when deciding which technology to use. So my second topic is using math action technologies within activity builders. Once you have decided with technology best with your needs for the lesson, an additional consideration which whether or not embed it in activity builder. As we explained in chapter 2, many technologies have platforms for developing activities that can include math action technologies along sideways for students to communicate their ideas, and for teachers to monitor, provide feedback, and display student work. We do not recommend automatically using an activity builder. Rather, think careful about what it adds. On one hand, activity builders can help with pacing through a lesson and provide an opportunity for you to see all student ideas and to share them policy. On the other hand, it can take a lot of time to build a high quality activity, and when not well designed, they can sometimes restrict student creativity. The math teachers articulate how they wait